Romanov Nazar, Breaking the Wall of Education.
Greetings everyone, my name is Nazar and I'm a student of Ukrainian Catholic University, and good education is really crucial for a strong economy and welfare. But if we take a look at the list of top 100 universities of the world, we will notice that none are located in Latin America, none are located in Africa, and just one of them is located in Eastern Europe. So basically, many talented young people end up being cut off from high-quality education in world's top universities. And one of the possible solutions is, of course, distributing the scholarships. But few students manage to get the scholarships, and many lose them, so the system is imperfect. But what is more, many people who do get the scholarship prefer to stay abroad afterwards, basically to prove in their home countries of their valuable experience and knowledge. And we've also seen another alternative, and that is precisely many online learning platforms such as Coursera and edX. They have a lot of problems as well. For instance, they have much lower immersion levels than real-world courses. And secondly, some researchers have actually indicated that for many users they are difficult to use, and that's what leads to more than 50% of dropout rates. But what is more, in fact, most students using these platforms are from the developed countries. Thus, the developed countries get the most out of it, while the emerging markets still do not really use these benefits fully. So the problem is still there, and for example, in many Latin American countries, there is still a large shortage of IT specialists, up to 40% in some countries. And the solution I suggest is threefold. First of all, it is using augmented reality to create the perception of being present in the classroom, to rise the immersion level. Secondly, it is creating a virtual reality platform for inter-student communication. And thirdly, it is collaboration with local institutions and businesses. So for instance, if you pursue a medicine degree, you might very well get your knowledge from somewhere else, but you might practice in a local hospital, thus enriching your local community. And in order to implement it, I would first implement the first stage by involving the existing students from developed countries, primarily IT students, and building a lightweight product that would be accessible both technologically and financially, as well as being user-friendly. And finally, we would also establish the connections with local governments and communities. So please support my project, and thank you. I mostly work with system administration. I do have a team of VR developers, in fact, but the idea...
Thank you for your presentation. Your idea is very actual for Ukraine, especially. And my question is, have you a team, and what is your role in the project?
What's my role?
If you have a team, what is your project? Okay. What is your role in the...
Well, it was conceived about a month ago or something, so this is just my first presentation, so it's just on the idea stage.
Thank you for a nice idea and good presentation. What would be the language of all the knowledge which is going to be on this, let's say, database? Is it going to be English, or it should be localized on Ukrainian, for example?
Thank you for your question. Of course, it should be localized to make it still more accessible. But in fact, for example, in Indo-Pak subcontinent, most of the internet is still in English. And in fact, India is the third largest country by the number of users on Coursera, 1 million or something, if I'm not mistaken. So launching it in English at first would be the best idea, I believe. And I want to involve the existing students from developed countries at first anyway. So it will be first in English, but afterwards I would also localize it in different languages.
Thank you for your presentation, and the idea is quite quite right, and the problem is there. But you mentioned that you're going to reach this underdeveloped markets, right? And you want to help students to get a better education from there by involving VR technologies and augmented reality. So the problem is that these technologies are also underdeveloped in the emerging markets, and it's quite pricey, to make this work. So what is your solution on that?
Yes, that's why I said that at first I would launch it in developed countries where we have better internet bandwidth and also the access to better devices. But in fact, it's not that bad. For example, in Ukraine, literally everyone of my age has a smartphone. By the way, I don't. But for example, in Argentina or in Chile, even more people have them, about 50% or something. And the bandwidth is actually quite enough for this. So that's why I would like to involve many IT specialists to develop a lightweight solution which will be accessible to everyone. Thank you.